Okay, this is creating your first 3D model on Tinkercad. When you open up a brand new 3D design page, it should open up to your work plane like usual. And then I want you to go to the top left corner. Mine's already labeled, but I want you to click this label and I want you to type in first 3D design. Okay, and click enter on the keyboard, and that way it's labeled and you know what your design is called if you need to go back to it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a box. We're going to click it on the right side and we're going to put it down here. You can put it anywhere you want on the work plane, doesn't matter. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click the lower right corner box, this white box, and it gives me my dimensions here on the side. Remember, there's two ways to change the dimensions of anything you're creating, and one of them is you can click this corner and drag it around and it can create all the size, but a lot of times it makes your box uneven, especially if you're trying to keep it even. So what I like to do is I like to change it to click on the side and change it. So I want to make it 2 inches by 2 inches. Okay. The other thing I want you to do before you get too far ahead is to go down to your settings and make sure that your units are in inches today. And then I also want you to check your snap grid. And if it doesn't say off, you need to change it to off. Okay, that'll help you a lot in the future. Okay, so now back to my prism. I want you then to decrease the height of your prism by clicking this top white box here, because that's kind of the top part of my box. Okay, it shows that it's still 1 inch. I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch, which is 0.5. Okay, and that will then complete my prism. Now I'm going to take a cylinder and put that on top of the box as well. So I'm going to click cylinder, and notice I can't put it on top of the box yet because I need to raise it above the box. So I'm going to then make sure my height of the cylinder is at the height of my prism. So my prism is a 1/2 inch. I'm going to click this, and instead of this, because this will only raise and lower my prism like this, it won't actually levitate it in the air. I'm going to click this top cone, and this will raise it up to where I want it to go. Okay, now notice how it's in like thousandths of an inch. So I want to just take this bottom number here and make that 0.5. That raises it to where I need it to go, and I can just drag this over onto my box. Okay, so far so good. The other thing I want to do is I want to see all those sides that are on this cylinder. I want to get rid of those by clicking on my cylinder, going over to sides right here, and I'm just going to increase that all the way to the edge till it gets to 64, which is the highest it'll go, and that'll get rid of those sides on that cylinder. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to align my box and my cylinder. Okay, so I'm going to click my top view, and notice how it looks like now from this vantage point a circle is off level on top of a square. We want to make sure that circle is centered on top of the box. Okay, so the way we do that is we click the circle, and then you're going to find the shift key on the keyboard and press and hold that shift key, and then you're going to click the box. Alright, so that has now selected the circle and the box, and up here in the top right corner is this align button. You're going to click the align button, and now you find all these black dots right here on your square. okay? And what that does is if you hover over it, it'll show you where your circle will go if you clicked that button. And because we want to put it in the center, we want to click the middle button. We also want to do the same thing on the other side. So right there, I've done it. Now my circle is centered on my box, okay? And I can just click out of that, okay? So now you see it's all completely centered. All right, the next thing I want to do is group my circle and my box together. Okay, so same thing again. I'm going to click my cylinder, I'm going to hold down my shift key, and I'm going to click my box. Then I'm going to go up to the top corner and see where it says group, this little square circle thingy button. It says group. I'm going to click that. And there you go. It changes to the color because I selected the cylinder first. And then just for funsies, I'm going to change a color to this color. All right. So there is your first 3D model. Remember from the last video we made on how to submit your link for me to look at your 3D model. Remember to utilize that video if you do not remember how to submit this to Canvas. All right, but there's your first 3D model.